Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walahu amma ba'd. We are beginning, inshallah, our third week of classes in our 6-week summer courses here at Masjid al-Furqan. Congratulations for the good scores on the tests. May Allah increase you in knowledge and increase you in your diligence and reward you for your hard work. I'm hoping that the fruits of the exams are paying off, that you are now fully prepared to begin a new week of courses, having reviewed the previous 2 weeks' material. That's the benefit of the quiz, is not necessarily to put you through hardships, but that you have reviewed the previous material so that we can build on the previous material. Now in our Aqidah course, it's important for me to mention a couple points that it seems like a lot of people made the same errors on the test. And that was one question about the statement, my recitation of the Qur'an. If you're asked about my recitation of the Qur'an, so I need to clarify this to make it entirely clear. First of all, the issue of talking about my recitation of the Qur'an, my qira'ah, or my lafz, and is it created or not, and requiring one answer, this is from the speech of Ahlul Bid'ah in the first place. It's from their ways to try to confuse Ahlus-Sunnah by smashing together two separate issues and making you, or forcing you, to give a ruling on it as if it's one issue. And then they'll use whichever issue fits their desires to use against you to say that you have spoken with falsehood. And to enact that step by step so you understand that firmly, which is, to me, it wasn't understood as well as it should have been. When I say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. Now that ayat right there, the first ayat of Surah Al-Nasr. Now I'm asking you, what I just did, was that something created or something not created? The recitation of the Qur'an that I just did. Is it a created thing or is it not a created thing? Abdul Wahid. One answer only. Created. There's the point. You can't give one answer because I've smashed two issues into one issue. Right? What are the two issues? The Qur'an is the speech of Allah. Right? No. And it's not a created thing. And my actions. So I've basically smashed two things. When I read it there, I made the issue ambiguous. I put two issues together and I want you to make one ruling, while they're in actuality two separate issues that require two separate rulings. And this is very important, because not only regarding this specific issue with the Qur'an being the speech of Allah, this is one of the methodologies of Ahlul Bid'ah in confusing the people. That they want to combine two separate issues that have two different rulings. Really fast, and don't let you think about it. Combine them into one issue, and then what's your ruling on this issue? And then once you give your ruling on that one issue, instead of giving it the tafsil, instead of explaining it properly like you should, if you were grounded in knowledge, and you can't just give one answer to that question. If you give it its proper tafsil, actually this issue, my brother, is two separate issues, and you break it down as Abdul Wahid did. If that's the case, you're free of any blame. But when you give your verdict or your answer, now you've given Ahlul Bid'ah the chance to now go back and separate that issue that was smashed into two separate issues, and apply your verdict, which is correct in one of the two, to the one that's not correct to, and then ascribe, deviance to you. So be careful about this methodology, and always think about the question you're being asked. Is it one issue or is it two separate issues? If it's two separate issues and two separate rulings, then I have to answer it with tafsil, and I can't give one answer. So the same way, if I was to write an ayat of the Qur'an on a piece of paper and hold it up and say, is this created or not? I want one answer. What would you say? I wrote an ayat. This right here, this ayat I wrote. Is it created or not? I want one answer. What do you think? The ink, the paper, and my action of writing, that's all created. Okay. The words of Allah, the Qur'an is not a created thing. No. Exactly. No, exactly. And he spoke with the Salaf. He spoke with the statements of the Salaf who came before him. He said, the Qur'an is the speech of Allah, and the actions of the servants are created. And he stopped. And he didn't say that the Qur'an, by its recitation, and give it one ruling over the other. But he said, the Qur'an is the speech of Allah, and the servants' actions are created. Having said that, is that clear now? That the reason why some of you got that wrong was because you said you gave one answer or the other, that it's created or not created, or you didn't give the answer that said, the correct answer to that question was, this is an ambiguous statement, and it requires elaboration. And you cannot answer it with one answer. The benefit they get out of it, there's no benefit in it actually, it's batil, but the benefit they think they get out of it is that they'll say the Qur'an is created, so then Allah has no speech. The Qur'an is created, so Allah has no speech. Denying the attribute of speech eventually. Right? We have now the Mu'tazila, upon the Jahmee, the Mu'tazila, they'll deny the speech of Allah altogether. Deny it totally. And one of the things they'll do is they'll say that Allah created the Qur'an and put it in al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. And Jibreel took it from al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. And they will not affirm that Allah ever spoke with anything that's in the Qur'an, or that He ever spoke a single word, Qur'an or otherwise. So they deny the whole attribute of speech. That's the direction they're going with that. No.